Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to your daily dose of zombies news from the game and its community here on COD Zombies HQ. Thank you so much for tuning in today, where we've got a lot to talk about, including some stuff that, trust me, you're gonna want to see. So without further ado, let's kick things right off with our first story of the day. A huge new zombies update was released for Cold War today, and one of the new things relating to zombies that I'm sure you've heard people talk about is that Samantha Maxis is now available to play as her own operator. You can purchase her operator from the Cold War store for 2,400 COD points. Man, with no more paid zombies maps and no more microtransaction consumables and zombies, they're really trying to monetize the zombies community any way they can, aren't they? But honestly, if that's the price to pay for free zombies maps, I'll take that trade-off. But the huge thing today coming out about this bundle isn't really associated with the Maxis character itself, but some of the very interesting effects that buying this bundle and using the Maxis Operator skin will have when you're actually playing a regular zombies match. That's because players are reporting widespread issues associated with using this skin. The first issue is that when you're in a solo match, your Maxis character model and all of your weapons become entirely invisible. So you're not able to see your weapon model. You do have crosshairs on your screen so you can kind of judge where you're aiming. Obviously, aim down sight isn't really going to do a whole lot for you here if you don't have any actual sights to look down. And as demonstrated by fellow zombies YouTuber Mr. Dalek JD, it results in some very odd looking cutscenes. But here's the thing, that's what happens when you use Maxis in a solo zombies game. What happens if you use her in a co-op game is very different, because if you're able to get this invisible Maxis Operator glitch in a co-op game, you become both invisible and invincible to the zombies around you. As demonstrated by Twitter user AmateurGamer101, his buddy is using the Maxis Operator skin. You obviously can't see him on your screen. You'll know he's there because his actual weapon is loaded in, but none of the actual character is. Interestingly, the zombies know that there is a player there and are trying to attack him, but they don't do any kind of damage when they try to use their regular swiping attacks. So when the player is in this state, they are entirely invincible to zombies, but for some reason the zombies are able to actually attack and hurt the player if they are crouched. But if they're prone or standing up normally, yeah, you're just straight up invincible to every single zombie in the game. Treyarch themselves obviously not happy with this issue, especially making players invincible. Their community manager saying this over on Twitter: "That Dark Aether hits different. We're aware of and are tracking issues with Sam." So they know that there's something wrong with her. The fix hasn't been released yet. We'll let you know when it does. But yeah, I guess Maxis was stuck in the Dark Aether for too long. Maybe the zombies recognize her as one of their own now. I don't know, but hopefully this issue gets solved soon, because amongst the rest of the details of this patch itself, Treyarch did change a bunch of things. Where firstly, a bunch of players were noticing that for some reason, the megaton that spawns in during your elimination objective could just instantly go down without actually taking any damage, making it super easy for the player. No longer, says Treyarch, where they say that they've now addressed this issue. And there's also a bunch of reports of regular megatons just kind of face planting on the ground, so you're just able to take them down without having to worry about their splits. Treyarch says that that was actually an issue with an alternate ammo type, saying they addressed an issue where the megaton would not split after taking shatter blast explosive damage when its health was very low. So again, another tactic for easily taking down megatons. But Treyarch is saying that no, this was in fact not intentional, it was a glitch and it's fixed. Next up is something that you've probably noticed if you've been playing the Outbreak game mode and you've been trying to do trials to build up to Legendary to try the roll the dice at getting some kind of wonder weapon from the reward. Well, Treyarch says that they've addressed an issue where the reward available UI would sometimes overlap with the trial timer on the HUD itself, meaning you couldn't really know how much time you had left in a trial. Those UI issues are always really annoying. I'm glad Treyarch says they fixed that. And the last one, and probably the most important, enduring, broken feature that's been in this game since the release of Season 2, is that when using Frenzied Guard on regular zombies maps, there is the chance for Plague Hounds to become totally invincible to the player and never despawn for the rest of your game. It is basically meant that for the rest of your game playing zombies, if you use Frenzied Guard, you'd have a bunch of Plague Hounds nipping at your heels that you can't take down, which I can't imagine anything more annoying in a zombies match. For that reason, we kind of advise players to stay away from Frenzied Guard when playing normal zombies. Well, it seems like Treyarch has tried and finally addressed this issue, saying they addressed an issue that caused Plague Hounds to become invulnerable after they attacked a player using upgraded Frenzied Guard. So hopefully we are done and gone with Invincible Plague Hounds, and they return to their normal explodey boy selves. Next up, Reddit user YoGabbaGavin has found a really sick mechanic in the Outbreak mode that can be used for your own benefit and also to pull off some awesome pranks on your friend, where he's found that you are able to, of course, ping regular loot boxes that you find on the map. The marker will come up as a loot box, which is obvious, no problem there. What he's found, though, is that when mimics disguise themselves as loot boxes on the Outbreak map, you're no longer actually able to pin the crate itself. That's how you know before even approaching it that a crate is in fact a mimic. So if you wanted to prank your friends, you ping a loot crate. It obviously doesn't come up on the map, you know it's a mimic, you invite your friend to said location, act all nice, bro, I'm giving you the stuff in this chest, have at her, and then sit back and enjoy the ride as your friend serenades you with screaming on the mic. Of course, if you're in a solo game, you can still use this tactic to determine what are crates and what are not, so you can avoid being jump scared and have to deal with the mimic yourself in the future. Next up, I always get a kick out of these kinds of videos because it always creates a little bit of sense of mystery into what could be out there in a zombies map that we don't directly have access to, or something that we're not supposed to be actually seeing. Where YouTuber the Scorpius 1985 sent me this video of him looking out the window during one of the holdouts on the Golava map and noticed something odd streaking across the Dark Aether sky. It looks almost like a meteor. The uploader himself jokes that it's Iron Man flying past in the Dark Aether just to say hi. But yeah, not sure what this is exactly. I don't think we've seen an effect like this on the Machine version of the Dark Aether, but if you remember, and I'm not sure how many of you do, but there was a video posted of a similar kind of looking object that seemed to randomly spawn into a player's match in Machine that they were able to see from a long distance off. It looked like a very similar kind of object, so perhaps it's the same thing, just that this comet or meteor in the Dark Aether is spawned in like it normally should, wherein on Machine it was bugged or glitched for whatever reason. Next up, in what's quickly seemingly becoming a zombies news update tradition, we have another edition of Outbreak versus Vehicles, where we show you clips of vehicles in the Outbreak game mode seemingly trying to pretend they're Elon Musk and blasting off to Mars, but there's a twist on today's version sent over by McHughBilly over on Twitter, where instead of a vehicle today that is blasting off, instead we got one mangly boy that has decided he's had enough of those pleb players that are just chilling on the ground, so he's just gonna rock up into the air and stay there for a while. I'm sure it's much more peaceful up there than dealing with a bunch of zombies players that want to take you down on the ground. So hey, good for him, I guess. By the way, if you do have any kind of interesting clips or footage that you want me to see, best way to get a hold of me is over on Twitter. The link is in the description. I love interacting with you guys on there as well. But that wraps up the news today, guys. I want to thank you so much for watching. Hey, if you did enjoy the video, why not hit the thumbs up button down below, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. You gotta love it how one of the most anticipated zombies characters gets a release as their own operator, and it's immediately broken. But hey, that's just the way she goes sometimes in zombies, and I want to thank you again for watching it, and I'll see you with another zombies news update tomorrow. Peace.